Bases dropped a little early here on SDH, and the reason for that is because I've got to be like 9 different versions of me today. And it starts with all of this. It's a Wall Pass Wednesday. Thanks for dropping by, John. Hear you there. And what we are getting ready to do is blow through everything that's going on today and get you ready for all of the action, all the behavior, and all the things. So it is a preview of the day. We'll go through all the news of the morning, get you ready for what happened yesterday. We'll go through all that stuff. Dylan Butler, God bless the man. Morning, Alex. Set to join us at 8:30. This is going to be a power hour because, all right, so here's the day. This time of year that I'm like multiple people. And so at 9, I have to leave Studio HD. And I have to go to a high school here in the Atlanta area for the high school version of me to present an award that's going to air. We're going to piece it together. And it's going to air on GPB in a couple of weeks, and it's going to air for the rest of the season. After that, I come back here to the house and then change clothes, I think, or at least bring more clothes with me. I've got to go pick up the boss's car because the idea of a never flat tire may be true. But what that means is that you have to replace the tire. And so for the second time in 6 months, we've rolled over a screw. This time it was a screw embedded in the never flat tire. And so I had to take it to the tire place and they had to replace the tire. That it is not something that can be plugged. You sit there and, $25 later, you're out the door. No, it can't be that way. With a never flat tire, it is replace the tire. So for the second time in 6 months, $300 later, I've got to go get the boss's car when I come back from presenting the award. Then, after bringing the boss's car back here to Office HD, then I have to take somebody out and make sure that he gets his walk, then leave here again to head down to Mercedes-Benz Stadium for Atlanta United and CF Montreal, possibly returning to Impact, maybe, possibly, perhaps never. So then making sure that someone is fed, he's got his food, I can leave, and then come back 11 o'clock and then make sure that somebody gets walked and make sure that nothing has happened inside the house while I'm gone because the boss is out on the West Coast for her work. So it's in, out. Sorry, wait, hang on. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, all starting at 9 o'clock after this. Yeah. And Alex, God bless you, man. I know it's like trying to figure out which one of me I am at any given point. Alex is like, I don't like this idea of different versions of John. All these facets are part of the same jewel. God bless you, my man. Last night on the network, you got to get the pregame for the oldest rivalry in the state of Georgia when it comes to college soccer, Oglethorpe and Emory. And Jason was on the call last night. You had to go to gopetrals.com and then Team One with the number one sports. Jason's call, 1-0 win for Oglethorpe after the 3-3 draw that happened earlier in the year. Maddie and I had Jason and Oglethorpe head coach John Aiken before the whistle. And then after the whistle was posted, we got to catch up with the game-winning goal scorer. SJF, we got to catch up with Nico Shira, and it was Ben Aurum as well as John Aiken last night on the Oglethorpe side, and then Corey Greiner and then the sophomore keeper for Emory as well. So it was great to catch Sharon Dwani. So great to catch up with them. It was a fun night. I got bitten by a bunch of mosquitoes, but you can see the before the whistle. I think it's still up on the network as a live. If you go through StreamYard and all of our different platforms, you can go backward and take a peek at it. After the whistle, Maddie was editing that during AST last night on the track at Oglethorpe. And she and Sophia Cupertino were there. And Jason had AST last night, had John Aiken on, had some sound on, getting you ready for tonight. So very, very busy night for all of us. And it continues today. So it's going to be running around. That's where we are. So good morning, Alex. Good morning, everybody. And I guess that kind of qualifies as opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. That's your QR code. For those of you who are hanging out with us, however you are doing so, large device or small, and what you can do is you click on that. You click on that particular QR code that takes you into Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Don't forget to use the code SoccerDownHere15. Get 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10%, reinvest in very, very cool things that they, youth games, youth initiatives, all those kinds of things that they consider cool, as our buddy Carlito would say. So Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Dylan Butler set to join us at 8:30. I think, and I'll ask Dylan when he comes on. I guess this is before he has to take everybody to school and then come back, and then he races in at 10:05 and comes in with us normally. But yeah, Dylan was like, okay, I sent out the bat signal, and I'm like, okay, here's the deal. I've got to do a power hour at 8 o'clock. Dylan's like, I can come on at 8:30. Cool. Tyler is going to, I'm hoping, be on as a part of the Friday Chaos in the last hour of the week at 10 o'clock, where we can go over everything that is going on in Major League Soccer, Atlanta United, all the previews, all the things. So hopefully Dylan can join us for the Chaos on Friday, and we'll catch up with Marion Crowder because the USL Super League spring schedule was released yesterday. And so next time around, or we might even shoot, I might try and tape something with Marion on Thursday and post it to the network. So remind me, I've got to do that. So I'll catch up with Marion and see what her Thursday afternoon is like. We can catch up with her, tape that, post it to the network, and then you can keep an eye on everything going on Super League and SEC soccer there with Marion Crowder. So it's always cool to catch up with Marion. So apparently there are some things going on in the Premier League and in dealing with loans and things. And it appears that Russell Martin in Southampton might be close to sitting there saying, thanks, fam, for getting us into the Premier League, but might be time to go just because of the really bad start that Southampton has had. Southampton's already freaking out. So no patience for Russell Martin whatsoever. And it's going to be, might be a short-lived deal when it comes to all of that. So yesterday we had FA Cup. We had Champions League. We'll get into those numbers coming up in a bit. And apparently Newcastle's facing a £1 billion bill to redevelop St. James Park, according to Luke Edwards. The expansion plans may increase the stadium capacity to more than 60,000, but it looks like it might be £1 billion, as I put my pinky finger into the side of my mouth, £1 billion to make that happen. Although the club continued to insist they've not made a final decision on whether to improve the existing stadium or move to a new purpose-built site elsewhere in the city. Telegraph understands detailed architecture plans for the expansion of St. James Park have been drawn up and studied. Plans have focused on the expansion and redevelopment of both the East Stand and the Gallowgate End, with capacity of the stadium rising to more than 60K if it comes to pass. Also believed to be the scope to modernize both the Milburn Stand and the Leazes End, which were built more than 20 years ago. Estimated cost is between 800 million and £1 billion, depending on final details. Newcastle will need to extend the leasehold on St. James's Park, which expires in 70 years if they stay put. And so they have repeatedly insisted, meaning the board, any decision will be discussed with the club's fan advisory board before it's announced, rejected the idea that the decision has already been made in private. So Newcastle, 800 million to £1 billion if they want to hang out with St. James Park. Also, once again, keep an eye on that. All these bottom lines, and that is the bottom lines, because Santino Morella said so. Sam Wallace out at the Telegraph also is mentioning that Barcelona suffered an 8-figure loss despite Ilkay Gundogan's exit and massive cost cutting. Vast wage bill and setbacks with the sale of Barca Vision are the key issues. Gundogan leaves, other departures. The club reduced their wage bill from 670 million euro to 500 million euro. So that's basically 170 over 17 over 67. Let's just say 15%. Even so, it announced losses of 91 million euro or 75 million pounds. Gundogan left to rejoin Manchester City, with the club unwilling to sustain his annual wages of around 16 million euro. Joan Laporta is trying to steady a club debt around 3 billion euro, 2.5 billion pounds, which includes financing of the new camp. Barcelona also admitted the much-anticipated sale of Barça Vision, previously Barca Studios, has not gone ahead as they'd hoped, forcing a write-down of 141 million euro in the club's assets. Initially valued at 400 million euro, a deal to sell just less than half of that. Remember, they wanted to sell 49%. Still sell off a lot of it, but still kind of keep control. So it was like a 49% sale. Explored separately with the Catalan businessman Jaume Roure, German football financiers Libero and Socios. In the end, the full valuation of the stake was never realized. Disclosures made in a taster of the club's next financial results. What's a taster? I'm guessing it's just a tease, maybe. Is that just the wording there? It's a taster. Announcing record merchandising and sponsorship revenue because, yeah, everybody needing a Spotify logo on the front of their Barcelona jersey. That's always going to get you somewhere. Announcing record merchandising sponsorship revenue, but warning the 141 million euro write-down had wiped out a small operating profit, 12 million euro. Barça Vision, which sits in the holding company of Bridgeburg Invest, subject of non-payment by some of the participating investors. So they were just not interested, apparently. Nevertheless, the club declined to write down the book value of their own share in the business, around 200 million euro, which is going to raise eyebrows among other competitors, making the economies to comply with such financial controls. Sales earned around 80 million euro. Club Academy continues to be a reliable production line. Lamine Yamal and Gavi, part of the Spain squad that won the Euro. So Gundogan left in the summer. Dani Olmo out the door in a salary move as well. And so much trailed move for Euro 2024 winner Nico Williams of Athletic Bilbao never went ahead. Yesterday in Champions League, somebody put up 7. Somebody put up 7 yesterday in Champions League. Man, it's like we're going to just go ahead and we're going to set records. We're going to put 7 on the board. So that traditionally is not a good thing when you have 9 matches in the Champions League. If you took the over in goals scored yesterday, you won probably. Arsenal beat PSG 2-0. At home at a minus 135. Barca was a big favorite yesterday at a minus 14.29. They shut out Young Boys by 5. Bayer Leverkusen 1-0 over AC Milan on the minus side at minus 147. Dortmund put 7 on Celtic. Leaving that there for Jared Smith at all. Minus 213. Inter beat Red Star at a minus 435. PSV and Sporting drew at a plus 272. We'll discuss that with Nino Torres tomorrow at 10 o'clock and find out what the heck happened to our muchly highly touted Victor Gyökeres. What happened on the road. And then Manchester City at a minus 1667 went to Slovan Bratislava and won 4-0. So that was an easy ride for them today. 9 more matches to close out this particular phase of the league stage. Girona, a minus 102, hosting Feyenoord. Remember, 2 matches at 12:45 Eastern, 7 matches at 3 o'clock. Girona is minus 102, hosting Feyenoord at a plus 278. Atalanta is playing Shakhtar Donetsk. Atalanta is a minus 152 on the road. And it's not a FIFA tournament, it's a UEFA tournament. So let me see. Now, let me see where this particular match is scheduled. But Shakhtar is a big road dog, not necessarily a surprise. And all matches in match day 2. Let me see if we can get a location on these. Okay, viewing details of Shakhtar and Atalanta at 12:45. And I need a location. The Arena auf Schalke in Gelsenkirchen. So it's going to be played at the home of FC Schalke. That's where the match is going to be for Shakhtar and Atalanta. And so that particular matchup is Shakhtar a plus 447, Atalanta a minus 152. Villa hosting Bayern. And this is one for our buddy Pars as he gets ready for his day. Aston Villa, 3 o'clock, hosting Bayern Munich. They're a dog at a plus 333. Bayern Munich, a minus 133. Benfica hosting Atletico Madrid, probably the match of the day. Benfica's a plus 168. Atletico Madrid, a plus 174. and your draws a plus 239. Dinamo Zagreb hosting Monaco. Monaco, a road favorite, a big road favorite at a minus 161. Draws a plus 344. Dinamo Zagreb plus 4.25. Lille hosting Real Madrid. Same thing for Real Madrid at a minus 161. Lille's a plus 450. Liverpool at home, massive favorite against Bologna. Bologna, by the way, a plus 1569 in the composite. That's what you're staring at with Liverpool and Bologna. Liverpool, big favorite at minus 556. I would watch it. I wouldn't touch it. RB Leipzig, who is plus 150. Juve's a plus 200. Draws a plus 234. Oliver Mintzlaff has said nothing about RB Leipzig as a part of the Red Bullsian tree, but he's more than happy to sit there and look at Major League Soccer. Look in the mirror, sir. Day 2. And Sturm Graz at 3 o'clock hosting Club Brugge. Club Brugge a plus 104. Sturm Graz a plus 266. Your draws a plus 271. And no, I don't do the sound effects for anybody from that particular team or country anymore because their ultras were a bunch of jerks, and so they don't deserve to get the horn sound. So that's your activity going on in Champions League today. Once again, reminder, 2 at 12:45 and 1, and all the rest are at 3 o'clock, and you can watch that on all the different aspects of the networks that are going on for Paramount Plus. Why is it when I click on something, it gives me March 26th? It's a little outdated. So what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. CBS Sports Network has Benfica and Atletico Madrid at 3 o'clock. FS1 is your free side of what's going on in Major League Soccer. Crew and the Messi and Friends at 7:45. Everything else at 7:40 on the Apple TV side, because 7:30 means 7:40. If you're on the free side, though, and you're the FS1 simulcast, you get the Super Hyper Mega pregame show, the extra either 5 or 10 minutes, and it is 7:45 for Columbus and Messi and Friends. That's also being simulcast on Fox Deportes. Everybody else is on season pass tonight. ESPN Plus has the CONCACAF W Champions Cup. It is Fraser's Whip going up against Gotham at 8 o'clock. Whip. Spell whip. WHIP. It's whip. Lose on the USL Championship in the midweek, Lose City and the Miami FC at 7:30, not to be confused with Messi and Friends, but they actually do play. But they play in Boca. They don't quite play in. Fort Lauderdale. League One going on. Back into league play after we had the Jägermeister Cup decided last weekend. Omaha and Spokane at 1 o'clock. Businessman Special at Warner Park in Papelbon, Nebraska, and then Central Valley Fuego, Northern Colorado at 10 o'clock on the campus of Fresno State. Golazo Network simulcasting your W Champions Cup tonight with Fraser's Whip and Gotham at 8. Paramount Plus has already shown Champions League Elite in the AFC with Vissel Kobe, Shandong Taishan, Yokohama Marinos, and Ulsan. Conference League is going on today, starting at 10:30 in the morning. Başakşehir, Rapid Vienna, Vitória Guimarães, and Celje. That's at 10:30. Then we mentioned the Champions League on Paramount Plus 2 at 12:45, 7 at 3 o'clock. And they also have the Champions League, the CONCACAF Champions League with Fraser's Whip at 8. And Gotham. Peacock is broadcasting Super League. DC and Tampa Bay is at 6:30. So that is your rundown of everything to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Okay, since it was mentioned that you've got Champions or Conference League going on today. The Europa League, by the way, is tomorrow, and everybody's playing tomorrow in the Europa League. Conference League, which has 18 matchups, you have 2 today, and everybody else is tomorrow. So we'll go over those numbers. But the 2 that are going on at 10:30, Başakşehir favored at home at a plus 122, Rapid Vienna plus 213, Vitória Guimarães a big favorite at home at a minus 286 in Portugal. Celje is a plus 772. So that is what you're looking at with that. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Once again, Dylan Butler set to join us at the bottom of the hour to go through everything Major League Soccer here on a Power Hour on a Wall Pass Wednesday. Getting into the gossip, rumor, innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. It looks like Liverpool has now joined the Jared Branthwaite chase, who hasn't at this point. Liverpool ready to rival Manchester United for Everton's Jared Branthwaite. Could even move for him in January. 4-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. We do have some Everton news, but I've got to figure out how to phrase it involving making sure folks get paid and the Friedkin Group trying to dive in and become owners. Sean Dyche given funds to improve the Everton squad in January. Once the Friedkin Group complete their takeover, no top players will be sold. Gareth Southgate is Manchester United's top pick to replace Erik ten Hag. They are also interested in speaking to ex-Juve manager Max Allegri if they do sack him. Ten Hag retains the support of senior players at Manchester United despite the side's poor start to the season. Jurgen Klopp has dismissed speculation he'll take over as Germany manager. 4-letter paper. Did you see the picture of Jurgen Klopp the other day? Dude looks completely rested. It's like he's getting naps in. He's watching whatever. I guess he's kicking back. Got his feet on the ottoman in the den, eating the popcorn. Dude looked rested. Barcelona and Spain's Andres Iniesta expected to announce his retirement. We talked about that yesterday. Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton and Atalanta's Ederson are high on Manchester City's list should they try to replace Rodri in January. And Anthony Gordon set to sign that new deal that we talked about last week that keeps him at Newcastle until 2030. That is from our friend Fabrizio Romano. In Scotland, Yanis Hadji's returned to Rangers' first team after the Romanian midfielder struck an agreement to resolve the contract wrangle that led him to be frozen out for more than a year. That's from the Scottish 3-letter paper. Hadji agreed to forego a clause where he would be due a salary increase if he played one more game for Rangers after several senior players and board members put pressure on Philippe Clement to bring him back to the first team. He greeted the news that he's no longer training with the Rangers B team with an Instagram post of him working out, simply saying, "Back." Honduras winger Luis Palma has told Brendan Rodgers he's determined to stay with Celtic and fight for a starting place, taking a break from social media after fan criticism following his only start of the season against Falkirk. Hammarby's Bazumana Toure has welcomed interest from around Europe, as reports in Sweden suggest Celtic leading the race to sign the 18-year-old who's also been scouted by Arsenal, Palace, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Bayer Leverkusen. News on Aberdeen. Kevin Nisbet has revealed that Peter Levin played a key role in convincing him to move to Aberdeen on loan from Millwall, that the first-team coach has been helping him rediscover the form that led to Scotland caps for the 27-year-old. And Jimmy Thielen, no regrets about missing out on Elfsborg's participation in the Europa League as he targets a return as Aberdeen manager. So that is your word on teams in Scotland that we're keeping an eye on and what's going on in England. The Friedkin Group, and let me get into this also, and I know that Tom is probably, his ears are burning over this. Friedkin Group, and we got to keep an eye on this. A letter from King and Spalding, which are the lawyers to representing Leadenhall, to a New York City court concerning the sale of Everton. ACAP has not provided the details regarding the terms of the transaction, but is committed to do so subject to a non-disclosure agreement. ACAP represented the transaction that will not close until Leadenhall, ING, and National Founders have the opportunity to review the terms and address any concerns with the defendant. In hearings today at 3 o'clock New York time, it means that Leadenhall want to make sure that the terms of the repayment of the 777 ACAP loan are not detrimental to their cause, meaning that they want to get paid. And so this is going to be it is going to truly be something that it will live in the courts, and it will live in the courts for a while. So I know that if you're looking at the Friedkin Group, you're sitting there hoping, man, we need to get this thing fixed ASAP. So we'll see what happens. And once again, I'm firmly anticipating that you're going to have a lot of stuff in the courts involving Friedkin Group before Friedkin Group can take over Everton and the 94.1% share of Farhad Moshiri's activity with Everton as they continue to go forward. So let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any other news before we get into, since we went through all of the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. And let's see, Harry Kane's a doubt for Villa after an injury in the Leverkusen draw, so we've got to keep an eye on that. And we didn't get a chance to mention this. Christine Sinclair is going to retire at the end of the NWSL season. And when Bart comes on Monday, in addition to everything else, I want to ask him about Christine Sinclair and her legacy and what Christine Sinclair has meant to the sport. just in the sense of in two countries, really, with her time with the Canadian national team and representing her country like she did here. This was completely unintentional this morning, but there you go. So our friends at Peace Collective that got to Peace PIECE that together and let everything roll and see what's going on there. So I need to ask him about Christine Sinclair and her impact going forward. So that's going to be on the to-do list when it comes to everything that we discuss in soccer, in the world of soccer, when Bart comes back in on Monday. So once again, let me see if there's anything that I've missed. Let's see. That's rugby. That's Champions League. We've talked about that. And I need like some hold music or something. I think we're in pretty decent shape. Remember tonight, it is at 6:30 on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. It is Atlanta United and CF Montreal. We've gone over the standings. Let me go back over them really quickly before Dylan Butler joins us and we break everything down with MLS, the Eastern Conference. The chaos is flipped this year, and we'll get into this with Dylan, but specifically the idea that traditionally the Eastern Conference is the one that's more stable. They're the calmer of the two conferences, not this year, where the stuff at the top, and you pretty much know who's going to be in the Western Conference unless somebody really does collapse. That's the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference is the one with all the chaos of folks trying to get into the party. That literally, it's like you see the bouncer at the door with the velvet rope and everything, and maybe it's more really Kevin Bacon on the sidewalk after the Faber parade. Stay calm, all is well, and everybody's stampeding, and Kevin Bacon ends up being embedded into the cement. Inter Miami's in. You know who's in, at least as far as 6 in the Eastern Conference. Messi and friends are in. They're 8 points ahead of Crew. Crew have a match in hand. They could probably close it to 5, and that might be the distance. But thinking of what Crew has gone through this year, multiple competitions, etc., and to be only 5 points behind Messi and friends, that's a hell of a run for Wilfred Nancy. Cincinnati's at 56 points. They played 31 matches. They got 3 to go. Remember, the number we're looking at is 34. Purple team is in, 31 points, and this is group number 2. Purple team's at 46. NYC's at 44. And they have 2 more wins than Red Bulls. Red Bulls have 10 wins. NYC has 12. Charlotte has been hanging on, and they built up a lot of point equity at the beginning of the season. So they've been able to hang on since they won like maybe twice in July. 42 points there. And then we have the Peloton. We have the Peloton starting at 8. And true to form, here's Jarrett. Jarrett, we're in a power hour until the top of the hour. Dylan Butler set to join us coming up here in a couple of minutes. But I'm going over the chaos in the East, where it seems like everything is flipped, where it used to be the East was the calmer of the two. It's like, yeah, we kind of know what we're doing. It's just positioning that's the element here. But it's flipped this season, where the West is the one that has the calm, and you kind of know who's in unless something really happens and the bottom falls out on somebody. The East is the one with the chaos this year.
Yeah, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you just need to put a stick in the cage and rattle it around a bit. And somebody did that in the East this year. Where we're at, man. It's you got a lot of teams that are eligible for it, and no matter who makes it or doesn't make it, every team that doesn't make it is going to have a very specific set of games that they're going to look back on, and it's going to be very evident where the ball was dropped, so to speak. And yeah, everybody's going to have ones that they're going to feel like got away. We know about Atlanta's. We've gone over them ad nauseum.
Yes.
But Philadelphia is going to be one of those teams that Philadelphia's on the knife's edge with everybody else. They needed a win versus Atlanta probably as much as anyone needed that win, because go look at Philadelphia's running the rest of the way.
Right.
It's not nice.
No.
Like, it's brutal. More brutal than Atlanta's. More brutal than a couple other teams that are going to be there. Like that, like Philly needed those 3 points. The fact they couldn't find a second goal is possibly going to weigh really heavy on what Philadelphia has going the rest of the way. But all of them are going to have games that they look back on and go, wow, imagine if we just had not spit the bit here, or here.
So, yeah, Dylan, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. We're talking the Eastern Conference and the chaos that is the East, considering the chaos traditionally is the West. The Eastern Conference is the one that's bananas this year.
It is, yeah. And I don't know. I feel like we knew. I don't know if it knew. It can never be definitive, right? But we had an idea that like the best teams in MLS were in the East, right, this year. Yep. But yeah, the West is making it say as well, and I think it's going to be a wild postseason. But first, it's obviously the run right to the playoffs and positioning, and it's in a league that loves parity down the stretch of a regular season equals chaos. Team chaos, and I'm all about team chaos. So.
You are not the only one. When it comes to the matchups tonight,
yeah,
I guess first and foremost, are you on the desk for any of these? What are you being subjected to?
I am on the desk. I will be on from what are we starting at 7:30 until probably 2.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So are you allowed a nap at the at Dylan Butler Estates until?
So at Dylan Butler Estates, the boss and the princess are currently in Montauk right now, camping with my father-in-law. So I have the estates to myself.
Ooh.
So could I go that route? Possibly, but I do also I look out on my lawn and it does need some mowing. So
oh, come on.
I don't I don't know. I don't know if a nap is in order.
But
I might be able to do both. I work today. My shift today, my desk, my first of 2 MLS shifts today. Is ends at 2. So I think I can, if I can get going right away, maybe be done by 4, maybe nap at 5, get up at 7, and start my merry match day 36.
Yes. All right. So let's roll through the schedule and look at the juice boxes and see. And basically, what we're going to do, we're going to play cliffhanger today. We're gonna do the old Price is Right game, where we're going to roll through the games, and if there is a game that you wish to discuss, just go ahead and yell stop, and we'll talk about it. So, and like I said, I was today years old when Odds Portal, it's like, hey, Atlanta United's first when it comes to home games. They're the first home team that's listed. That's great for 7:30 kicks. Then I realized it's in alphabetical order, numbnuts.
I figured it was just because Atlanta fans figured that they were, Atlanta United was the most important team. So, of course, they would be listed for. It was like listed in order of importance.
Of course it is.
Well, remember, we had to reinvent soccer after Seattle invented soccer.
That's right.
Yes. Atlanta United, a -169, draws a +361. CF Montreal, never to be Impact ever again until Joy Saputo sells. And the fans have an uproar to +386. Jared, I'm just going to go ahead and yell stop. What do you think?
Obviously, you need to win out from here on out. You need to hope that, like, Philadelphia just gets their ass beat in that gauntlet they have to go through, and a couple other teams drop points. A classic kind of 6-point game. My fear with them right now, and I will continue to have this fear until there's a sea change, is they come inexplicably flat, like the Nashville game.
Mm-hmm.
That is my
you have a different fear today. Your fear today is Joseph coming in and getting a brace.
Oh, yeah, Joseph ending your season with a coup de grace is right up there. That is like 1A and 1B.
Traditionally this season, CF Montreal's road form ain't that great. They literally have been two separate clubs. And Jared has been to Stade Saputo, so he knows how tough of
I
a
love those people.
he
Those are my favorite away fans.
yeah. And so he knows the chaos that can be associated with anybody going to Stade Saputo. That is not the case here. CF Montreal has to go through customs. Maybe there's a customs agent or 8 at Hartsfield Jackson, International Galactic, Starport that will kind of slow things down a little bit. But CF Montreal ahead of Atlanta in the standings by 3. Atlanta, if they win tonight, they now get the tie in wins, and then they would have the tiebreaker because of goal difference. 2, 8, and 5 away from home this season. Montreal.
Yeah, but Atlanta only has 3 more home wins.
That is true. 5, 6, and 4 at home. So that's what we're staring at with this particular game. So basically, the two of you are saying toss up until further notice. Is this what I'm seeing? Chaos. Okay, so
again, Atlanta is 2 different teams at home. They're the team against Nashville that were just bad, and then they're the team that when Columbus or Miami came here, they went balls to the wall.
Yeah, playing up or down to the level of the competition. And so right now, CF Montreal's above them in the standings. So as an Atlanta United fan, you were hoping that they play up to them. All right, cliffhanger continues. Charlotte at home at a -154, hosting Chicago Fire. Fire are a +382. They're eliminated. They don't care. NYC is at where are they tonight, Dylan? Which version?
They are at the place they dominated on Saturday, which is Red Bull Arena.
Okay. So they are. This is pre-DBE. And they're hosting FC Cincinnati in New Jersey as NYCFC at a -123, draws a +312. FC Cincinnati, who is chasing Columbus right now, third behind them by a point, is a +290.
It's amazing though, because it doesn't feel. I mean, they are in the standings chasing Columbus, but doesn't it really just feel like it's now like it's not even a 3-horse race anymore with all the injuries, injuries to center back position for Cincinnati. Like they don't feel like they're that. Like they feel like a distant third at this point. You know, you'd almost give more credence to Orlando, and we'll talk about them in probably 35 seconds. But like they, there's 10 points difference between Cincinnati and Orlando. But right now, you would give Orlando probably a better chance of making a deeper run than Cincinnati.
Truth. Purple team, Jared is a -132 at home, hosting said Philadelphia Union. Philadelphia is a +298 in the composite to win. The draw is a +328. So I have more concerns, obviously, with Cincinnati, considering that what they don't have at the back. Purple team is actually the team that we traditionally think of with Oscar Pareja as the slow fade. That's not happening this year.
Yeah, he seems to have figured out the formula, which is interesting. Yeah. It's interesting though, because like they had so many guys on loan last year that I wasn't sure they would be able to recreate what they did through chunks of last year. And I think they've been more, not as like explosive, but more consistent this year. And they just kind of, I don't know, it kind of feels like Orlando's just kind of floating on along here, but not in a bad way. Like they're just kind of sitting right outside that elite category, and they seem fine with it. They're gonna go out there.
Well,
they're gonna. Yeah.
Sorry, Jared. I was gonna say, here's the thing.
Go.
They've been on a run, but against the teams that are not making a run, right? Like they've been beating bad teams to this point, right? Their stretch drive now, they've got to beat a couple of good teams, and I think tonight, granted they're going to be at home. They're facing a desperate Philly team, but they're still Philly. This is a really interesting one to me, I think, because we get to kind of, Philly is looking more Philly. Are you buying stock in Orlando? I'm not sure. Even though they're making this run, it's been largely, other than the Charlotte win, it's been largely against teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. So let's see what Orlando has tonight against a Philly team that, like I said, they're looking more like themselves. And then they go to Cincinnati, and then, of course, they end the season against Atlanta.
And even Charlotte is kind of. I've been giving Charlotte a side eye for the last month because they've been dropping points at places that good teams don't drop points.
And you end up dropping points in places, and I think that's what eventually comes back up and bites them in the you-know-what going forward when it comes to that.
I mean, they'll make the Charlotte's going to make the playoffs.
No,
they're just going to have an annoying-ass first-round game.
Yes, that annoying-ass first-round game is what's, I think, going to cost Charlotte, in addition to the combination of question marks up front and in the back line. Outside of Christian Kalina, who has to stand on his head every single time and turn into the second coming of Manuel Neuer on a weekly basis in his prime, Manuel Neuer. Toronto FC at home, plus 143, slight home favorite against Red Bulls, who are a plus 183. We'll see if Oliver Mintzlaff will be pleased with their efforts on the road tonight. Then 7:45. Which
hold on a second. How bad are the Red Bulls right now?
Woo.
Like, and Toronto's that important?
Toronto's not looking good either. So no. This one is an interesting one too. Just to sort of, is anyone gonna step up here and take 3 points? Is this gonna be a 1-1 or something, and nobody's happy? I mean, it's sports cliche, but obviously, look, you want to be playing your best going into the playoffs, and they're in the playoffs again. But if I'm a Red Bulls fan, how do you celebrate a playoff streak that doesn't include a championship? 2, in recent history, barely includes any wins in the postseason. So what was the sign that was in Red Bull Arena? Not good enough.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is not good.
No, it is not. And so I think you have the Hall of Not Good going on the road to a team that you don't know which team you're going to get. It's like the Scooby-Doo chase sequence. You don't know what door you're going in, and you don't know who's chasing you, and you don't know what it's going to look like until you smash into each other in the middle of the hallway. So
these two will certainly smash into each other in the middle of the hallway.
Yes, 7:45, which means 7:55, which means that you get the super hyper mega pregame show on over-the-air television. It is Crew and Messi and Friends. Jarrett, Crew's a minus 114 at the Death Star. That's their nickname. They gave it to us. I didn't. Draws a plus 312, and Messi and Friends are a plus 259. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
I mean, I'd call it that too, other than lower.com field.
Low, hey, they ain't paying us, so for me, it's the Death
Star. It's like it's kind of like that. That's one of those where like it just doesn't roll off the tongue, kind of like guaranteed rate field in baseball. Like this,
where the hell is that?
That's the new Comiskey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Home to the worst team in Major League history, baby. Home to the worst team in baseball history, 121 losses.
Well, and if it hadn't have been for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and from Orange County south on the 5 freeway that are, letting folks go at discounted rates, then it would have been 121 or more a lot sooner if it hadn't been for the 3-game sweep. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, that's just the Angels.
Yes, thank you.
As far as this goes, man, like Columbus just kind of motors on along until proven otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so.
I keep waiting for. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think this is Columbus's chance here tonight to make a major statement. Like, one, screw you guys, you're not winning the Shield in our house.
Screw you guys, you're not winning the Shield in our house.
And they might not be winning the Shield, because of their recent results either, Columbus, but they're gonna they should be letting Miami know. This is not going to be a cakewalk. We're going to see each other in a much more important game, and here's what's coming. So I think I would expect some animosity tonight as well.
Oh, very much
between these two. What a terrific what was it, round of 16 in the Leagues Cup match that these two had at said field. But listen, I don't know. I feel like this is like I feel like this could be like a 3-1 win for Columbus.
So you think when this one could go 8 nuts sideways, take the over kind of a thing?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, this one will be fun while we're at Mercedes-Benz, keeping an eye on must-win Atlanta United and CF Montreal. 8:30s, Dynamo at a -196, hosting the Revs at a +468. Also at 8:30, Nashville hosting DC United. Nashville's actually favored at Geodis at a +125. Draws a +254. DC is a +206. And this one kind of seems like it might be an elimination game for the loser if it ends up being a loser, because DC 34 points, 3 points out of a playoff spot. Nashville 33 points, 3 matches to go, 4 points out of a playoff spot. So it's a battle of 12 versus 13, and it might be a loser leave town match by the time we're done talking about that one at Geodis at 8:30. 9:30s, the Prairie Dogs in Colorado hosting LAG. Colorado's a +117. LAG is a +181. That's an interesting number. Draws a +321. Also, RSL hosting the Loons. RSL's a -115. Loons are a +259. I don't think that number is low enough. And your draw
That's
is
an interesting one too. I think because
+311.
RSL, God, it was only 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I feel like ago, maybe more, maybe a month. All these match days, they all blend in together. But I feel like it wasn't too long ago that we were saying RSL were one of 5 Shield contenders.
Yeah.
And then now Chicho's got like a goal in his last maybe 6 games. Or he's not scoring goals.
Yeah.
And the Loons, they are, right. Kelvin Yeboah is scoring goals for Minnesota. They're looking to make a push. So I think this is an important one for RSL just to kind of halt this negative momentum that they have going on.
Halt. Who goes there? Jarrett, what do you think about RSL? I mean, when you don't have folks who were efforting the ball to Chicho Arango, and you're missing the playmakers, you end up with what you have at RSL. What about those 9:30s or the 8:30? 9:30s, yeah.
Time is relative.
It is this early in the morning. You're damn right it is.
Besides, the Central Time Zone is God's time zone. We'll find out this week with when Auburn gets to play. Who's Auburn? Oh, they've got a really pissed off UGA team. Cool.
Yeah.
Good luck, Hugh.
In Athens.
Can't wait to see who you blame this one on, Hugh.
Oh yeah, he's gonna throw folks under the bus on that one.
He's gonna find a way to throw Trooper Taylor under the bus from 2011. That would be amazing.
Wave that flag.
But I am consistently so impressed, even though they've had those bumps in the road with Colorado, though, man. Like Armas goes in there, actually gets some support from Stan Kroenke financially, and finds some stability there. RSL still feels like that kind of team that they're not perfect. They've got flaws, but if they can catch like a good week of form, they're going to ruin somebody's playoff, and they're going to screw up people's brackets just because they can do it, even though the consistency isn't always there.
Yeah.
But they can just like rattle off, like, what happened? RSL scored like 15 goals in 3 games. And then all of a sudden we're looking around at RSL's in like the Western Conference semifinal. Now they might run out of gas, but they could just as easily score, 2 goals in 3 games and be done.
I love those 9:30s. We got 4 at 10:30, which means 10:40. Yeah, Dylan. Oh God, I do not envy you, my friend. LAFC hosting all caps. LAFC is a -238. Your draws a +426. And
LAFC has found their form again, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you don't have, and this was the other point about alternate competitions and multiple timelines with crew, you end up with, they were kind of distracted. They were working on other things. They were trying to win things hemispherically. So I can understand why they were a couple of points back in trying to chase after things with Messi and friends in the Eastern Conference. So the fact that they finished second probably by the time that we're done with the regular season, not a surprise. And then they get to focus on everything going on in the playoffs, that all the stuff is behind them. The Leagues Cup is behind them. The CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza is behind them. You can focus on what's going on in front of you. That's why I think Columbus is 1 and Messi and friends are 2. Same with LAFC. You don't have to worry about Leagues Cup anymore. Don't have to worry about any other competitions. You can focus on what's on in front of you. And City is north of 515 tonight, and it might be a long night for them. Portland and Los Verdes. Portland and Austin. Portland a big favorite, no real shock at a minus 182. Austin is a plus 408 in the composite, draws a plus 370. Jarrett, your Quakes host FC Dallas. You're a plus 142.
Quakes are dead, brother.
I'm aware of this, but you're a favorite tonight at PayPal Park, where folks have another opportunity to boo John Fisher if they so see fit.
Better boo John Fisher. I don't know why we all moved the A's into PayPal Park. Let's get weird.
It'd be a short porch to right. It would help out the left-handed batters. I'll give you that much.
Hey, you know what, though? He should do it for that reason alone, because it'll be entertainment value when someone starts popping off 6 home runs a game.
Oh,
could you get Aaron Judge to like hit one onto the tarmac over there then?
Oh, that'd be
Oh, my God. He probably could.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
The A's signing Joey Gallo with the pure hope that Joey, like, hey, man, that porch is like 200 feet. Just keep hitting pop-ups. Somehow Joey Gallo hits 75 home runs a year.
For Sacramento baseball team, I don't even think they're going to be the A's. I think they're just going to be SBT. I think they're going to be Sacramento baseball team. I don't think they're going to have a nickname next year even.
They should be baseball club, no? Like if we're going to keep it the.
Oh, see, there you go.
Sacramento BC.
Yes. So Sacramento Baseball Club, or the Sacramento Cells,
or Real.
Oh, Real Sacramento.
BC.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Real Sacramento BC. Make it how we got to do shirts, Jarrett. Real Sacramento BC. That'd be fantastic as a way to discuss. That'd be great.
Boo that man so much.
That'd be.
Oh, they're probably going to boo for a different reason tonight.
Yes.
San Jose is in the season territory. Like, this is just get us done. It's another wooden spoon. You fired the manager. God only knows like what it takes to actually get that team turned around.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah, like in that situation, I think that Chicago was in a couple of years ago, where it's like everything is just like we need to pull it out. You know,
was that Frank Klopas 2.0?
Well, yeah, you got to pull the damn roots out on this thing, man. Like you got to we got to dig up the soil. We got to put down new fertilizer. We got a
lot of weeding to do.
Yeah, man, you are not wrong. You got a lot of weeding to do here. Because I don't even know where you begin with that one. I know there were the rumors about I think Matt Doyle had it about Greg in Chicago, which at least would provide some stability. Chicago, like San Jose, doesn't even have that right now. They don't even have like rumors of stability. Rumors. San Jose, man, the closest they're going to get is like John Fisher's going to see them like, hey, former national team manager. And he's going to whistle for like Jurgen Klinsmann to come in and ask like Klinsmann to come in and say,
Rumors of Stability was my favorite Fleetwood Mac album.
Oh yes, absolutely. Because all that happened in the album was that Stevie Nicks yelled at Lindsey Buckingham for a full 48 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that was rumored. That was a hell of an album, and I say that because I played albums and I've got a turntable up in the mid-level, so I know of which you speak. Last game is Cascadia bound.
Yeah.
It is Vancouver and Seattle. Vancouver at BC Place. I don't know if they're going to open the upper deck or not. Plus 134. Draws a plus 250. Seattle's a plus 193. Vanni Sartini must be protected at all costs. The man wore a Terry Fox T-shirt to a press conference and gets Terry Fox. That's your Google search for today, kids. But Vanni Sartini must be protected. Dylan Butler, what say you? Last game on the board.
Yeah, so Vancouver could get some or put themselves into some good position for silverware here. It's the run for Cascadia Cup. They're, I believe, leading right now in those standings, but this is their last Cascadia Cup match. The final Cascadia match could be a lot of fun and have major playoff positioning implications when Portland and Seattle do their thing on decision days. So big one for both of these teams. The negative though right now for the Whitecaps, Stuart Armstrong out, calf injury. Ryan Gauld questionable knee injury. So yeah, so that's a concern. Don't know how serious for Stuart Armstrong, but look, obviously, clearly these are major characters in this show you got going on out of Vancouver. So that is a concern. But yeah, Cascadia at the end of a long match day, it's always fun.
Jarrett, last match on the board. What do you think?
Vancouver. I will always dump for Vancouver. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I adore them. Just, yeah, man. And Vancouver also turning into like the Island of Misfit Scottish national team castoffs is one of my favorite subplots in all of this.
As it should be, completely and totally. All right, so Dylan, by the time this match is over, this match card is over at the end of the night, what do you anticipate seeing by the time you go to bed?
Stars, like just double.
You're over it at that point.
Yeah, no. We're not seeing a supporter shield winner.
Okay.
I think we will see some. There will be movement in the table. I don't know how significant. Let me see again real quick. I don't. In the West, I don't think we're seeing anybody get over the. I think your 9 in the West right now are set.
Yeah.
It's just now a matter of positioning. So, I don't know if Montreal can. I'll say we won't see anybody new above the line.
Okay.
In the East.
All right.
As well. And we will see. How about a Denny Bowanga hat trick?
Ooh, okay. So that means that I got to have him as my captain on my fantasy team. Fix your fantasy teams, people, by the way. Jarrett, by the end of the night, we will have seen blank in Major League Soccer.
We will have seen at least one team in the East throw away their playoff lives. And when I say throw it away, I mean like in a winning position with 20 minutes to go and choke on a chicken bone.
Damn. Well,
is that happening anywhere near you guys? That sounded very personal there.
You know what, though? It could be either one of those teams.
Yeah. Well,
if you told me that Montreal had a 1-0 lead in the 70th minute and, like, I don't know, like, it's an own goal and a Stian Gregerson deflected header, and all of a sudden Atlanta's alive and Montreal staring in the mirror wondering what happened, I would believe it. If the inverse happened, I would believe it.
And Joey Saputo goes storming down into the into the locker room and yells at Laurent Courtois, and we can hear it through the wall as Rob Valentino is giving his post-match press conference.
Also, John Herdman might fight someone in Toronto.
And welcome to a day that ends in Y. All right, so we'll be back at it again 9:05 tomorrow, and we will be discussing everything that happened today. Scott Wells, the head coach of Gardner Webb, is going to be joining us in hour number 1. He had a big win last night. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss what's going on in Western North Carolina. And we have the phone lines and the pipelines wide open to everybody in Western North Carolina on all levels of soccer. If they want to come in and crash and let us know what's going on and update us on everything going on up there, they have an open line to do so. And we'll continue to do it, and we'll keep talking about that. We'll probably go in after the first of the week to what's going on here in the state of Georgia, look at it through Soccer's in Session and the high school lines. And I want to thank Dylan for jumping in early. I want to thank Jarrett for jumping in early. Guys, thanks for getting the power hour to its end where we can all get on with our days and sprint into our various lives. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. We'll catch up with you soon.
All right, guys.
All right, that's Dylan, and that's Jarrett. And so Jarrett and I will be at Mercedes-Benz with Maddie. We'll let you know what everything is going on there. And it will be 6:30 pregame on 92.9 The Game on the Odyssey app. Jarrett, last thoughts before we get out of here.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this game could be really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I know that kind of goes without saying with this team because they've been so schizophrenic, but um, look, they've put themselves in a position where they're going to have to be ballsy every game. Um, and another performance like the Nashville one will not go over well with anybody in that locker room, with anyone on the coaching staff, anyone in the fandom. I know there's a lot of talk all the time about, uh, the fans need to show up. Well, the fans have done their part, and it's a back and forth with this. Yeah, everyone's going to show up, but which team shows up?
Yep.
And I will reiterate, man, like I wouldn't be as frustrated if we didn't know that they can be better than what they've shown.
Yep.
If their ceiling was what it is, and that's just what they were, that would be one thing. But they've shown you what they can be when it links up and it clicks and they push. And the inconsistency in intensity is what makes it frustrating because we know they can be better. What can they be tonight?
We'll keep an eye on it. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning and let you know. Power Hour to finish things up with Nino and Nico at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, Scott Wells, and a Reaction Thursday. For Jarrett, for Dylan, I'm John. We're out. We'll see you later. I think, maybe, perhaps. I'm trying to play something and it doesn't play. I set something up as a bumper. Well, yeah, and I know. It's like you set something up and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do to click on it? You click on it and then nothing happens. It's like, come on now. I was going to be all fancy and everything and, play the intro clips. Fine. Here's your outro clip as Jarrett whistles us out. Supposed to do. We're supposed to play the outro and end the stream. I get it. So that's what happens when it's like I click end stream and it says play outro and end stream. So that's what we're going to do. We're out.
Magnificent.
We'll see you in a little less than 22. See you tonight at NBC.